football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back to Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it! If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit get to do and welcome into More Important Issues. Let me get that off there. Got it. Reddit get to do and welcome into More Important Issues. That was our AI generated that messed up there. It is a good Sunday here on Rocky Top. Vols swept number 4 Vanderbilt. Tim Corbin is still going through the Tennessee dugout, hoping to find a bat with no stickers on it. He is in shambles right now. Bus is delayed going back to the West End. It's a good time. It's a good Sunday. I'll be honest. I didn't know how this show would go before Friday night occurred. Now I'm pretty pumped. I am disappointed. It looks like Elon has fixed Twitter. I was hoping to get 600-700 live viewers again. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, good weekend, bad weekend. It is what it is.
Yeah, fantastic on the diamond. Maybe not Twitter-wise, maybe not from the viewership-wise, but baseball has figured it out, ? Exclamation point. It was unreal. It was a totally different team, not even from last weekend, but from freaking Tuesday. There's 1 day or 2 days in between, Tuesday and Friday, and it was a completely different team. I have no clue what happened. I asked a few people if the Gatorade was spiked, and some people said maybe. So I said, keep doing it. Whatever is happening, just keep on doing it. Wherever you're sitting, don't move. It was a very superstitious weekend inside Lindsey Nelson, but it was rocking. It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, that's it kind of, I hope it, like this weekend had that 21 feel of Vanderbilt, except we swept them this time, in the sense of it kind of felt like a revival. Vanderbilt in 21 was the first time Lindsey Nelson was open for 100% capacity. Mm-hmm. And it was just a rowdy environment. And I wasn't there, so that was just, that was taking it in on TV. You could just hear the fans the whole time. It never seemed to calm down. You got vintage Tony. He's had a couple times where he's been fired up this year, but he seemed more tame. I don't know if that's coming from the higher ups. I don't know if it's just because the way the season's been rolling. But you had Tony Vitello coming out of the dugout a few times. You had him take off on some home runs, and it just felt vintage. So it was good to kind of get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, it's nice when your players kind of match Tony's passion.
Yeah, it's got to be hard for him. He's probably wanted to be angry at the umpires more this year and hadn't been able to, because if people think you look a fool complaining when you're winning, what do they think when you're getting beat? So you gotta maybe be a little more tame. This week kind of got to let it fly. I saw him get into it a little bit. I can't remember who it was, but Drew Breen was pitching, and one of the players was, taking his sweet time getting back into the box. And after that pitch, you saw the umpire kind of look at Tony and try to calm him down up 9-0. But it was nice to see a little bit of that fire come out of not just the team, but him.
Yeah, and he's always competing, and so I know we're going to talk about the Christian Moore thing probably a little bit, but that was one thing that he said after the game, and he was like, the dude's competing. Even though the score is what it was, he's still competing. So, I guess we can talk about that later. But
yeah, well, I do want to get I'll talk about Tennessee baseball. I'll get all the way into it, but before we do that, I do got to talk about my good friends at Underdog. Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectibles store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. Stop by the University Commons Shopping Center next to Publix and Domino's to check them out. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows 3 nights per week. Remember to always bet on the underdog. Shout out to Underdog. Go check them out. Would have been a good weekend to head on over there. Get a little of that winning feeling going through the doors.
Yeah, 100%. So baseball.
I wish you could tell me what you think it was, because we kind of talked about there's so many areas Tennessee had to correct, and it seemed like this week we were like, I mean, just fix one thing right now. Just try to get one thing going. And especially Saturday when you see the bats going, you're like, okay, maybe everything's been corrected.
Yeah, I think confidence is a big thing. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, Maui Ahuna, number one. That's where I saw it probably the most. I mean, just in the field, did it batting wise. I mean, he just looks more comfortable, like when he's on the field. And it's just a weird thing to say, but that's just how he looked. He just looks comfortable in his own skin now. It's not, I know there's a ton of pressure like coming into the season, and I don't know if that just kind of got the best of him, but it looks like he's kind of figured it out. And he's got to continue to play like that. But for our weekend, he looked like a really great shortstop at Tennessee. I mean, the plays that he made today against Enrique Bradfield Jr. were insane. I mean, not a lot of people are going in to the hole like that toward third base and throwing out Enrique Bradfield Jr. and Maui Ahuna did that today.
Yeah, we talked about how early in the season there was some talks about how good he looked but prior to the season, and you just hadn't really seen that yet. And I mean, we talked about what we had seen on the field. He made routine plays just look super, like they looked like, oh, I can see it. I can see why this dude's an All-American. And then just the difficult, just whatever it was, difficult plays looked really easy. And then the routine plays just didn't seem to click off. And this week, everything just looked incredible. I mean, he made a play running towards the pitcher's mound this week that a couple weekends ago at Arkansas, we saw them make a couple times. And you're thinking, that's just a good baseball team. And finally, you get to see Tennessee making some of those plays. Just clean baseball overall.
Yeah, it was crisp. It felt good, and I'm sure that's a huge boost to your pitchers that pitch phenomenal all weekend. Knowing that you got those guys behind you that's got your back. If you were to make a mistake or somebody barrels one up, hey, it doesn't matter. Like they're back there. Christian Scott made a great play in right field today. Maui Ahuna made some plays. That one catch that he had, I think yesterday, when he caught it over the shoulder in
Friday night, big game.
Yeah, in left field. I mean, that was massive.
I think that was Friday night.
A lot of shortstops don't make that play, and he made it look pretty easy.
I believe that was Friday night. Now I'm questioning.
I think it was yesterday.
Okay, all running together. I thought it was Friday just because, obviously late in the game there, everything's crucial. And I think that's what's big too is Tennessee. We talked about how Tennessee was not only had been catching bad breaks, but also shooting themselves in the foot. It's hard to win, period, in this league. And then when you're shooting yourself in the foot, you make it more difficult. Tennessee kind of got caught in that Friday night where they just weren't getting a ton of breaks, but they didn't create chances that made it harder on them. And they stuck through it, hung in there, and you finally get that fulfillment where, it goes into extras, but Chase Burns keeps dealing. I mean, what about the kahunas on him? And honestly, for Vitello, like there should be a lot of talk about the shakeup that's happened, in not just the roster and what that's gone through this year, the lineup, but also the pitching staff. And to then bring in Chase Burns, a guy who's just struggled for whatever reason this year, come in there in a big time situation and then let him. I know he's playing well, so it's easy to let him stick it out. But I'm sure that past play this year's got to hang in the back of your mind a little bit as you get into extra innings, and you stuck with it. And the dude showed you why he's an All-American.
Yeah, and he might have a future being a bullpen guy in the majors. I mean, that he looked phenomenal, and you saw the passion of him coming off the mound. It's a little different when you're a starter, especially the first of the game. You can't just do 3 strikeouts and come. I don't know why, but that's just kind of how it is, kind of how the game flows. After that first inning, you're not seeing guys just come off the mound and, jumping up and down and beating their chest. But in situations like he came in this weekend, you absolutely can. And I think Tennessee's found something with Chase Burns. I mean, him coming out of the bullpen and not knowing when he's going to come out of the bullpen. So, you got to think is, we can't get behind because then they'll go Chase Burns and then we're screwed. So I think that's huge, kind of get him in that role, and he's taking it on. I think you stick with that going forward. I know he's pitching good, so if it ain't broken, why fix it? With Andrew Lindsay, he shoved it on Friday night. Chase Dollander pitched that complete 7-inning game with 7 strikeouts. I'm sorry. Andrew Lindsay had 10. He had Queso all by himself. Drew Beam shoved it today, and all around it was. I do want to talk about one more pitcher, Aaron Combs. Good God,
Yeah,
that dude is sick. Like, that is disgusting what he's throwing to those pitchers. I mean, I know Maui was dealing with some back issues. I'm sure some of Vanderbilt players, the way they're swinging and missing on some of those curveballs, they got back issues this week too now.
Yeah, I think it's nice to see this, and not that it's been the pitching staff's, their fault by any means, but certainly just doesn't seem to have, with all the hype around them and all the expectations and all the talent there in the starting rotation and in the bullpen, it hadn't seemed to kind of come to fruition, and had to be shaken up. So it's good to see them kind of bounce back in a big way. And I mean, you can even look at last weekend, and I mean, you could look at it all. They played pretty well, but for whatever reason, obviously you mentioned it, when the play behind you isn't good, hurt your confidence, and then it can't hurt your stat line. But this weekend, it was good to kind of see it.
Yeah, 100%. And batting wise, 1 through 9, everybody hit the ball well this weekend, especially yesterday when you're talking about that first inning where all 9 starters reach base safely. That's not something you see a whole lot in college baseball, and you definitely don't see it against the number 4 team in the country. So,
and Vanderbilt, who's known for having those guys that you can't hit against,
and all with 2 outs.
That's I'm not going to complain about that. That's would love to get back to that, but last year that felt like the trending topic. We could always hit with 2 outs, so we can do that again, I guess, if we need to.
Yeah, I think Tennessee had 14 of their 17 runs with 2 outs. I think they had 6 more today, or 5 more today. They had 1 on Friday night, so 20 total, I think, runs with 2 outs.
Don't forget about Dylan Drawling's last, pretty much last pitch.
Dude, that seems so long ago.
Yeah, it does, honestly.
It really does. But man, what a game that was.
Yeah.
Shout out dead in the water.
Shout out to the guy that won our bracket. He got tickets to that game.
Oh yeah, that's good on him.
Yeah, for real.
Also, I think there's a hole in the batter's eye where Kavaris Tears hit that one, and it was just a line shot. I think it was still going as it left.
Yeah, how far does that ball go if there's no batter's eye, no trees behind the batter's eye, no river there just behind it? That ball's still rolling probably.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was a freaking rocket. Dylan Drawling, it looked like me playing Topgolf. Like, it was just a huge swing and slice out of the park.
That looked like it was fun to see those. Honestly, not just on the home runs. It just felt like Tennessee found the gaps too. Watching it was pretty funny. I bet you could have. I bet they said it 10 times this weekend, maybe more. That the announcers, not even Enrique Bradfield, can get to that one. Every home run, just about, that was hit his way. They said it,
and he made a lot of plays out there where any other center fielder, it's a hit.
He made a lot of plays standing up that I'm thinking that just looks like it should have gotten down.
Yeah, yeah, he's catching balls in like left and right field. I'm like, why do they even have an extra player out there? Put him in the infield.
Oh, they would have loved to do that if they could have.
Well, they paid for that. That's another thing. Tennessee didn't watch strikeouts. There were some strikeouts. I think they had 15 on Friday, but you did play 12 innings. But Tennessee outpitched them. I think they out hit them. Especially, but even if you take out Saturday, Tennessee out hit them
That's insane.
with the hits. Because you hit with runners in scoring position, you hit with 2 outs. The shift didn't. I mean, I don't know why they kept doing it. Every time they would do it, we'd beat it, or hit 1 out. I mean, we beat it every way possible. We would hit it where they're not. We bunted down the third base. Actually, like, that's a standing ovation. I've been calling for that for so long. God, I love Jared Dickey. Jared Dickey is that guy. Thank you for finally bunting down third base. I mean, dude, like, if it's like Christian Scott or Hunter Inslee, it's a double. If you can, like, bunt it down hard enough, it's a double. It's good they finally did that, because I've been calling for it.
Who was it that did get kind of shafted by that? They were setting up for a bunt. Vanderbilt shifts, and I mean, in a normal play, it would have been a 1 hop over the third baseman.
Oh, that was Hunter Inslee.
That was Hunter Inslee, and the shortstop is Santa behind him. So that was just unfortunate.
Yeah, he was going to cover third, and it goes right to him.
Yeah. I mean, he mashed that ball too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was good to see. And I mean, I think too, like Friday. I mean, Friday wasn't your best hitting display, especially you just talked about it. Runners on base, runners in scoring position. You just couldn't put together. All your home runs were solo shots. So obviously, it was a good day in terms of not only just being able to score, but also when it really mattered when you had to do it. But it felt better to do that, and then Saturday just get go. It's a big day.
Yeah, huge day.
Big weekend. Big weekend.
7-0 in Tennessee's last 7 games against Vanderbilt.
Oh, and yeah, I love it.
It's 2 sweeps and once in the SEC tournament, so they've just had their number. And I think Tony Vitello is like, don't correct me if I'm wrong, 9-6.
That sounds right. I don't know the exact.
7.
They obviously Vanderbilt didn't get the sweep in 21.
Yeah,
against the Vols.
He's got a winning record against Tim Corbin, which I don't think a lot of people in the SEC can say that.
I would imagine there's very few.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Ethan kind of just put in the chat here. He said, even though we struck out a bit, I loved how competitive at bats this whole series. Yeah, I mean, but other than Friday, like, we had 15 again in 12 innings. Other than that, and they threw their best bullpen guy that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, Maldonado pitched. But other than that, I think yesterday you had 7 strikeouts, and then today you had 6. So keeping that under that 10 mark, I think is huge for Tennessee to continue to do. But when you're able to pitch and play defense, you give yourself a chance, and that's what happened Friday. You put it in reach, and you just had to get hot at the right time. And the rally caps were on. I took my shirt off. It was awesome. I had a lot of people tell me oh, I had a guy say no one wants to see that. I feel like people would want to see that.
A person around you said that? Or just tweeted at you?
No. It was around me.
I would have been like, why are you looking at me when we just hit a walk-off homer?
Yeah, he was like, no one wants to see it. I'm like, yeah, you're in front of me. Like, you're not going to see it anyway.
Well, I mean, also, like, hey, we just hit a walk-off. Quit looking at me.
Yeah. Also, hey, don't you talk about my body. Don't you
I'll
body shame me.
I'll take my pants off and you'll shut up and like it.
Yeah, don't you body shame me.
I wouldn't have put my shirt back on. You're a better man than me.
Yeah. If I didn't have anything to drink, so that was completely sober. So I couldn't imagine if I did have a few beers in me, would have happened.
I wish more people had taken their shirts off with you. I'm disappointed in the Vol fans around you.
Yeah, tarps off, man. That's what we do.
Real. It's a big walk-off homer. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. Dude, and that's another thing is, like, Tennessee has so many young guys, too. Like, Dylan Dreiling, Kavaris Tears. Dylan Dreiling is a true freshman. Kavaris Tears is a redshirt freshman. Jared Dickey is a redshirt sophomore. Hunter Inslee is a redshirt sophomore. Yeah, Jake Kendrow start today in place of Christian Moore. He's a freshman. Christian Moore's a sophomore. Blake Burke's a sophomore. Beam, Burns, they're both sophomores. So, I mean, I think this team has found a little bit of swagger to them, and I think they're only going to get better with how young they are. I think that confidence comes, and you honestly learn from mistakes and stuff like that. But this team has a chance to be good in the next few years too. The future's pretty bright.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and
sure,
I think in 2024 you have the number 1 recruiting class. 2025 you have the number 2 recruiting class. So I don't think this program's going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that's the case. Obviously, still a lot of baseball to play. That's the still a lot of time to kind of make sure you have everything figured out. We talked about it. Doesn't necessarily get easier from here on out. I mean, Georgia completed the sweep this weekend, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, Georgia just swept Arkansas. You have Mississippi State. You have South Carolina, who looks to be the best team in the East. They swept. They swept Florida this weekend. So you still got to play some of your best baseball coming up, which after this weekend, it looks doable. A lot of people said it wasn't, but it certainly looks doable now. I think everyone hoped you figured it out against Vandy, and I mean, separated the boys from the men, even though they may have done that before for us. It certainly did this weekend.
Yeah, just got to continue to play good baseball and clean baseball, and then you got to prove that you can win some games on the road. You're 1-9 on the road.
Yep.
So got to fix that, and you get a chance. You mentioned Georgia. South Carolina is going to be a tough one, but you do have them. I forget who else. I think Mississippi State's at home. Kentucky's at home. Yeah.
South Carolina's the only away series left, right? No, Georgia's in Athens.
And Georgia.
Why do I think we played Georgia in Athens last year? We obviously didn't, but for some reason was thinking that. Anyways, Georgia's away though. But yeah. So Georgia South for away series.
Just 4 series left. That's insane.
We talked about it. That window it was and is
was
still
closing.
It is still closing a little bit because you are kind of you put yourself in a position to fight uphill a little bit. Now things are obviously looking up after taking down the number 4 team. I mean, getting to the postseason is not as much of a talking point this week as it was last week, especially after Tuesday night. So you did give yourself some room to breathe, but you still got to go win some baseball games.
Yeah, you got to win those 2 series at home. Mississippi State is not great. I think who did they lose to? They lose to Auburn. They lost their series. I think it was
Ole Miss, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it was to Auburn. Kentucky lost their series to Texas A&M. So those are 2 winnable series that you need to win those at home. And then on the road, I think Georgia. I mean, I know they beat Arkansas. I think that's just college baseball. I don't think they're.
Yeah, I don't think they're a great club by any means, but it's not a.
Yeah, but I mean, we proved this weekend anything can happen. Yeah,
right. It is baseball where, and then you mentioned Tennessee's road record, so certainly not the.
And then South Carolina, you got to win a game.
Yeah,
I don't know if you necessarily have to win. It'd be cool if you could win the series, but in that environment, it is a tough environment to play in. You got to at least win a game. I don't think you can go get swept. If you want a chance of hosting a regional.
Right.
And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility either. Because, I mean, when you look at the SEC, the way that it's going to kind of figure itself out, just how difficult the conference is in general, I think if you can go win, I'd say 3 out of the 4 series, I think you have a really good chance of hosting a regional.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for the Vols getting to Hoover in the sense of you're not going to find a better pitching staff in the country than what
so many arms too. I mean, we didn't even use a lot of them either.
So when
Kirby pitched 2 batters, Wyatt Evans still hasn't thrown yet. Xander could have thrown, didn't have to throw this weekend. I'm trying to think of some more that they just didn't use. Zach Joyce didn't throw. So, I mean, you had a lot of guys that you just didn't even have to throw just because Saturday was kind of in hand, and then Sunday was kind of the same thing. I know it got kind of interesting at the end of that, but you didn't have to throw many arms.
Right.
God, Aaron Combs is gross.
So you get into a situation where you need 4 starters, or you're having to go to bullpen more. I like Tennessee for that. Obviously, the defense behind it's got to hold up like it did this weekend. Hitting's got to be like it was this weekend. But Yeah, I mean, we're getting into the time of the year that if Tennessee can find any amount of success they did this weekend, things can certainly be looking up.
Yeah. So are the Vols back? I'll ask you that.
They're oh man.
It's a yes or no question. You can't say I don't know. You just got to say yes or no. Just off what's your gut?
Call me a hater. I'm gonna say no. Go sweep Mississippi State. Let me see that swagger next weekend.
Okay.
If one series loss doesn't define you, one series win, one series sweep doesn't define you.
All right.
Beating Vandy is nothing to Tennessee. It's just part of the gig. It's why you wear orange.
That's awesome. I hope they're still in traffic on I-40 right now.
Nobody can argue with what I just said. It's not possible.
That's true. I mean, I didn't think of it that way. I was just ready to call you a negative all, but I get what you're saying now. It makes sense. So,
it's good to see that swagger back. I don't know if it was the fur coat.
I think we're all kind of wait and see. I don't think that's not unfair to say that.
I think you have to be, and it's not a knock on this team. What they did this weekend was huge, and it can't be cast to the side. It's not oh that was nothing. This season's still blah blah. No, like that was big what they did this weekend, but there's like we've been saying, there's still a lot of baseball ahead of you. There is, and you still got a lot to play for.
And I definitely think it has shown that, like, and we've seen this before this Vanderbilt series, but Tennessee can beat anybody. They have the talent to.
This weekend was proof of the talent's there. You just got to figure it out. Like this weekend was that.
100%.
Corbin, you can.
He can suck it.
I guess they got better stickers this year. They didn't even test the waters in that.
I guess it's hard. There was so many bats to check, and so I guess he just refused. He was just like, it's not even worth it. It's very poetic, right? That Tennessee beats them 17-1 on Saturday after he pulled that stunt last year.
Yeah, and it's awesome that there is, like, I hate the mercy rule in SEC play, but it is kind of nice to be like, yeah, we'll just play this one 7 innings. See ya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should call Cody Hahn right now and be like, hey, did you enjoy that this weekend? And see what his just first initial reaction is.
He definitely did. I mean, I would love to hear what he had to say, but he there's zero doubt in my mind how much.
I just kind of said like, hey, in passing yesterday as I was leaving, but I did get to see him yesterday.
Okay, nice.
He was smiling ear to ear, so I know he was excited.
I do want to talk about the Christian Moore thing because we talked about this earlier in the year. I don't remember if it was actually during baseball season or not, but I don't understand why baseball doesn't have a similar to football. You have a personal foul 15-yard penalty. First one's not an ejection. Your second one is, no matter how soft it is. Basketball, you have technical foul, flagrant. First one's not an ejection. Second one, worse or not, is ejection. Mm-hmm. Soccer, yellow. Red card, obviously. Some can warrant an ejection, just like the other sports, if they're bad enough. Because I'm not saying I don't even know if Christian Moore's warranted that. He didn't. I guess you charge the guy, you get a warning, whatever. But he didn't touch him. I don't even think the hit shove on Dolander was that hard. But and I'll give the announcers credit. They equated it to football. Like, you do that to the quarterback, you're going to have some words and maybe some. Yeah, some bumps there to answer to that.
Yeah, you get a reaction every time you do something like that. It doesn't matter who it is.
But if it's a pitcher, that's going to elevate it.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what team. It isn't just because it's Tennessee. Anytime that you put your hands on a pitcher, yes, you're going to get a reaction. Yes.
Yes, I don't understand it. And honestly, it didn't seem like the umpires.
The most egregious thing was the umpire shoving Christian Moore.
And they didn't seem to calm down the situation much. They seemed to kind of maybe it was a pretty boring game, I guess, for them. They had to get some action going in some way.
Make it about themselves. Yeah.
Tony Votella said he was going to pull him off the field anyways, and then he gets ejected for it. It did end up. Everyone thought it was a 4 game, which I heard that, and I was like, how in the world could that possibly be a 4-game ejection?
I don't know where that came from. That's
pitchers are 4 games.
Now they do review it, and if it is egregious, they could give him more. But it is not just A pitcher will get a 4-game suspension because obviously he doesn't.
Right. That's what they were. That's the
every
rule
game.
they were referencing.
Yes.
And apparently it has changed several times. So yeah, that's the rule they were referencing, which I was like, that's just not possible. You can't appeal it in 4-game. If that's the case and you're an umpire, you have to know that rule and know you could never toss a guy for that.
Yeah.
1 game, okay, maybe. But 4, no, absolutely not. You can't do that. But no, it was very dumb. Apparently, you had Vanderbilt players leave the dugout. You couldn't see that on TV, but that's what everyone said.
Oh, they did. Yeah, they were like at the third baseline.
So I don't understand that. Football has rules for entering the field of play if you're not a part of the play. Basketball has it. I got to imagine baseball has it.
Oh, you can't even. I mean, they don't even want you to come out of the dugout to celebrate a home run. So yeah.
It was an absurd situation all around. I mean, I agree with Fattel. Maybe kind of know the pace of the game. Maybe don't charge him there. Maybe just take a friendly stroll through past the first base bag and let him know what you thought of it and that you'll get him.
Is that why you think he got ejected because of the charging or just the way?
I think that had to be it. I think it had to be.
Because I think words like getting, you can't get ejected for saying something. Okay,
right.
That is the softest thing in the entire world. I mean, the oldest saying in the book is sticks and stones, and we're tossing somebody over something that he said, and I don't even know what he said, and I'm sure the umpire probably doesn't know what he said. So that was my thing, is like, how can you eject somebody when you have no clue like what was said and
it didn't look like he had any intent to make it physical, personally. Like he never put his hands up. He just ran up into his face.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have an issue with it. Yeah, I'm kind of with Tony. Is like, kind of know the situation. Like, we don't need you gone for another game, but also it shouldn't have been in question. Like, like tempers flare all the time. I don't think just because people get in each other's face, it shouldn't warrant an ejection. Yeah, absolutely at any point.
But we also saw a Florida pitcher get tossed this year for saying, "Come on, let's go," maybe towards the opposing dugout. So
Aaron Combs got a warning after that strikeout to end the inning.
It's insane
because he did the same thing that like Chase Burns did, but he did it toward Cal Stark or maybe the batter. Who knows? And then he gets a warning for it. I'm like, guys, like, chill.
See, but why? So warnings do exist in baseball, apparently, even though
they didn't feel like they needed to use.
Why would Christian Moore just not get a warning there? Yeah. That's what I don't understand. Yeah. So warnings only exist if the umpires want them to exist, apparently.
Right. Because
there's no way Christian Moore's was warranted an ejection if you can issue a warning.
Yeah.
That's my problem with baseball. Like the way the game can be officiated.
It's karma on me because Friday night I was like, man, we're flying through this game. Like it was like in the 7th inning and we had been there like less than 2 hours. I'm like, dude, we're going to get out of here in like 2 hours and 15 minutes and be on the road. Now it worked out for Tennessee because you need to go into the extra innings, but it was funny because that ended up being the longest game of the weekend. And it was, both pitchers, they're just mowing each other down.
Yeah, definitely worked out in Tennessee's favor.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Jinx. Shout out for that.
Also, my dad is in another video, like a highlight video.
Is he?
And I'm sitting next to him. What did I do something to the baseball account?
You must have. Where's it? So the video's on the baseball account?
Yeah, it's like them doing the final. It's like the final score video. My dad is like at the end of it.
Oh, nice. From today?
Yeah, and I'm sitting right next to him.
But you can't be seen in it.
No.
Love that.
Yeah, so I don't know what I did, but
all right. So we've got anything else for baseball?
That's all I got. Good weekend. Suck it, Vandy.
Absolutely suck it. All right. Breakout players this fall.
Actually, we got a basketball transfer we got to talk about.
We got another GIF is what we got. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
We got another what?
Video.
Oh,
GIF.
yeah.
It's a great video. I have to update our intro now. That one might be better.
It might. He's got that like Tiger Woods fist going. Basketball landed another transfer. The last time we spoke, they had landed Chris Ledlam and Jordan Gainey. I keep wanting to say Justin. Out of the transfer portal. Now they land Northern Colorado wing Dalton Connect, and he's 6'6", 200 pounds. Apparently, he was like 6 foot when he went to junior college, and he grew 3 inches in junior college, and then gets to Northern Colorado and grows 3 more inches to 6'6", and now he's 6'6", 200 pounds. Averaged 20 points a game, 7.2 rebounds per game, 47% from the field this season, and 38% from 3. Had a double-double against Baylor. He had 12 points, 11 rebounds. Had 24 points against Colorado, so common opponent with Tennessee this season. Is listed as the number 18 transfer, so that gives Tennessee the number 5, I think, transfer class in the country. And I think that's a little skewed because Olivier is in the transfer portal, so it counts as like a negative on our end, which I don't think he's going to end up transferring anywhere. So whatever. I think Tennessee did a really good job in the transfer portal, getting some guys, getting some scorers. And, again, we have to see if it translates. But, I mean, this is a legit, like, NBA-sized wing at 6'6", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Can get to the rim, can dunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he looks like just aggressive.
Yeah. So
also, we could have used those 20 points against Colorado. That would have been nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely would have been the leading scorer on our team.
Also, I retract my statement. The Tennessee Volunteers are back. We officially have a small ballpark tweet from Vanderbilt fans. So, yeah, the Tennessee Volunteers are back.
Heck yeah. What did they say?
They live and die with the long ball, and their Little League ballpark is a big part of it. I don't understand that argument when both teams played there. I don't get that. I'll never understand that argument. Also, why would that change you being able to play small ball? What does that do to it?
It's unreal. I don't know.
They're mad that Griffin Merritt's heels were on the left field wall and threw him out a second. Like, that wouldn't have been an impressive throw in any ballpark.
I was watching a video that I just got sent of Drew Beam giving his cleats. Did you see his cleats today?
I did see him.
He gives them to his sister Carly in this video that they just tweeted out. So
I don't need to watch. I don't need to cry right
now. But yeah, killing the transfer portal. Love it. More points. Just give me more points.
Definitely. Speaking of, you talked about Olivier not expecting to transfer. I mean, Rick Barnes' comments were kind of strange. I didn't read the full context of them, but said he knew he wanted to go pro. So did you read that? Did you see that? He knew his intention.
Yeah, the way I read it is like that's been his goal since he got to Tennessee was to go pro.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I think that's everybody's.
Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah. So when he entered the transfer portal, like, I don't think they expect him back anyway.
Okay. Good deal.
Whatever. I mean, he'd been great for 4 or 5 games.
Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good. Is Olivier coming back?
Josiah?
Olivier?
Is he coming back?
Olivier. Urosh?
Hell no. No, thank you.
Like, is he... That wasn't my question. Okay.
There's my decision. No.
All right. That sounds good to me.
In Tennessee football landed a transfer, Jemias Hurd out of the state of Georgia, 3-star defensive lineman, 6'8", 293 pounds. Where do these kids even like what do they eat? How are people so big?
I don't.
6'8" as a junior in high school? What is that? Why? How?
Yeah, I mean, I love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're like his only like big time offer, but hey, if Rodney Garner thinks you're good enough to play in this defense,
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I won't question. And I mean, and the good news is I don't know if Tennessee needs just like an immediate impact guy. So
yeah, I mean, we did have a defensive lineman enter the transfer portal in Amari McNeil, who played a little bit last year. Just kind of part of that defensive line rotation. I guess he just wanted more playing time. Maybe he saw the writing on the wall with adding Omar Norman Lott and DJ Terry, Amari Thomas, Bryson Eason. I feel like I'm forgetting some, but Tyree West is another one. So maybe he just saw that and he was like, I probably don't have a shot of playing or just having a small role within that defensive line room. So not a big loss, but and you're going to see that. Like, I mean, Tennessee is now at where they're at that scholarship threshold or whatever. So I mean, they can't keep everybody.
Yeah.
Which is funny because somebody like tweeted, I don't know why, but they tweeted, they're like, this is why rankings don't matter. And like, I get what he's saying, but it was just funny how he said, it was from 2020. It was like Tennessee's 2021 class, and literally one person on the list is still at Tennessee. And it's Jalen Wright, who almost left.
It's just a little bit of turnover.
It happens.
Just a little bit.
A lot of that is like before Pruitt was fired too. So, and you had a 3-win season that year, so that didn't help anything.
Oh, how those are in the past. I don't even know why. No, hopefully those are in the past. We're good.
Yeah. All right, who's some breakout players for you? I know we're kind of slow on content, but I did think this was kind of interesting because we've seen some guys like it seems like there's a different guy, and a lot of people saw Jalen Hyatt probably being a breakout player. I don't know if they thought he was going to be the best.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
wide receiver in college football
say that.
But, yeah, right. But they did expect like him to make a jump in this offseason. So I guess who are some guys that maybe like played sparingly last year? I don't know how we want to go about this. Maybe we have different answers based on like what how much production they had last year. But I do think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. So I've got two kind of answers to go a different direction, or one to go a different direction and one to kind of go, I guess you could say, play sparingly. It's the running back position. I think it obviously looks very similar to last year. But I think your number one back, your best all around, I think it's Jalen Wright this year.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have Jabari Small being kind of that main contributor like he was. But I think when it's all wrapped up, said and done, put a bow on it, it's going to be Jalen Wright. He's your number one back. He's going to be your best runner, your best blocker, your best in the pass game when it's all said or as a whole, not best individually necessarily, but most well-rounded, and he's going to be more your go-to guy. And then a guy that kind of played sparingly, and this shouldn't shock anyone by any means, but I think it's going to be Dylan Sampson. I mean, he seemed to kind of improve. He was already one of your better runners. He seemed to improve in pass block. And in the passing game as a total throughout the year. And so I think it's those two guys are going to be your number one and number two when the season's said and done.
Yeah, Dylan Sampson, guys, I think they only ran the speed option when he was in. So just an added wrinkle that you can include with Dylan Sampson. Yeah, he just seems – that speed's just different with Dylan Sampson.
He has that where he hits it when he gets to the next level, he can really – not that Jalen Wright and Jabari Small don't get faster, but he can really explode and create separation. And he's just he's a different runner. That's the right way to say it.
And Jalen Wright, he was kind of that same way, like coming into his freshman year, like, super fast, can make people miss in the open field, this and that. But he's gotten like big in his couple years on Rocky Top. So I do think he is your most talented back because he has that ability to break away, number one. I mean, you saw that against Vanderbilt a couple times. Just dunking on Vanderbilt this weekend. Love it. And then you have, like, he's gotten that size to him, too, where he can run between the tackles
Right.
and fall forward.
Yeah, no, it's I'm excited to see both those two, and I think Jabari will be a good back too, but I think those are going to be your guys this year.
Yeah. I think it was kind of hard for me to pick an offensive one because I didn't know how we were going to go about it with just production.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dante Thornton is one that, people keep pointing to as having that kind of year like a Jalen Hyatt
Right.
could have. I'm going to go with Brew McCoy, and maybe he was a breakout player last year, but I do think he is going to have a bigger role this season.
Yeah, this year will probably be better to him.
Yeah. You don't have to share the ball with Cedric Tillman. You don't have to share the ball with Jalen Hyatt. I think he should be one of your go-tos and, a guy that Joe Milton's already comfortable with. And a guy that showed up in huge moments last year. I probably had the catch of the year. I know Jalen Hyatt had a couple of those in that Alabama game, but none was bigger than Brew McCoy's to set up that field goal.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think you talked about comfortability, and that's going to be big because outside of Brew's only guy that I guess is he was, I guess, consistent all year. He was there all year. Now that obviously there's a new quarterback, so that changes it up a little bit. But he was there. I mean, but Joe Milton should be very familiar with Ramel Keaton and Squirrel White as well as Brew McCoy. But yeah, Brew's going to – I think I agree with you that I think Brew's going to be the kind of that Cedric Tillman role early on in the year, maybe the outlet, if you will. But I expect big things all around from that first probably two groups of wide receivers. There's a lot of talent. I'm curious to see. We saw
Brew's
it
just the coolest name to say,
for sure.
even though you do have Squirrel in that too. But Brew's a little bit easier to say.
Yeah, and a little bit easier.
Keep it simple, stupid here.
Yeah, a little bit easier to yell too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm interested to see how we talked about it last year. We thought the wide receiver group would be a little bit stronger. Maybe you see more than three. It looks like this coaching staff likes to pretty much keep the three same guys out there. I assume it's going to be the same way this year. Obviously, you have Ramel Keaton make much bigger impact due to injury, but curious to see what kind of happens before injury, if that rotation's still three guys or if you see more, because there's plenty of freakish talent.
And they kind of opened it up a little bit when Cedric Tillman came back. They kind of played four, and I kind of think with Dante Thornton, you have Ramel and Squirrel, guys that have made plays for you. I think they're comfortable with those four guys. So I would be shocked if they only played three, because I think there's four like really capable guys. It's just they want to keep it tight end. And that's something else I'd like to see more is like, do you have to go an entire series without a tight end, or can you sub them in and out?
Yeah, I would like to see that more. I don't love and maybe that changes too this year with having tight ends that seem more capable in the pass game. And that's not a knock on Jacob Warren and Princeton Fant, who I thought played well last year. They're just not they
weren't huge mismatches.
Yeah, they don't look to be like maybe an Ethan Davis could be, which I know that's putting a lot on him, but he just looks. You mentioned he played more wide receiver, which I know Jacob Warren did, but he's pretty far removed from high school by the time Josh Heupel got here.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different in that scenario, but yeah, maybe more capable. But anytime we go, to 5 wide or anything like that, or I'd like to see that wide receiver out there, like you said, for that mismatch opportunity.
Yeah. I got one more. Well, I got two more actually, and they're on the defensive side. I don't know if you have any defensive, but I'll go first one if you want to go one as well.
Okay. Yeah, you had.
Okay. I'm going to go to Nico Slaughter.
Okay.
I think a full year at cornerback is where he needs to go. I mean, you saw that pass breakup he had in the orange and white game. I mean, he just seemed different last year in terms of ball skills and just like raw athleticism at that corner spot. He's a bigger corner, which in this league, I think you need bigger corners. And I think the way that Josh Heupel and Willie Martinez and the staff has recruited guys, they do want bigger corners out there because they can be more physical and run different stuff. You can blitz a lot more if a guy's not able to get off the line as easy. So I think Nico Slaughter is definitely probably your CB1. He just seems different. I think him just actually embracing that position as like, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to go to the NFL at. I think that's huge for him. And it should, I mean, he intercepted the ball. That's what we've been waiting on. And he did that against Kentucky. And I just think he's going to have a lot more just the way he plays.
Yeah, I like that. My guy was going to be Joshua Josephs. I mean, dude's every time he was on the field last year, he was a freak. It kind of blew my mind he wasn't on the field more. This year, maybe kind of still in a rotation. Maybe won't be your number one guy, but he should play more this year. Absolutely, like there's zero doubt about that. I feel like, not that Byron Young or Tyler Barron, I don't think they took a step back or anything. Maybe just didn't take a step forward how you wanted to this year. And so I'd really like to see a build up on that. And Joshua Josephs just looks like a freak of nature when he's on the field. The game you saw him most, I feel like, was LSU. I don't know if that's true by snap count, but that's where you felt you saw him most. And just seemed to be able to make a huge impact, not just being able to get to the ball, but being a guy on the edge that was really strong and played smart. And so I hope it's him this year. I hope it is.
And it kind of has to be, right? With Byron Young leaving, it kind of has to be Joshua Josephs has to take that next step, or James Pierce, or somebody in that group has to. But yeah, right. It looks, based off from last year, you're thinking that probably is Joshua Joseph. He seemed more. I don't know. James Pierce looks like a freak too, but he just seemed like more.
He's a man.
He was out there, so they obviously trusted him more than they did James Pierce.
Right. Now that's who I want it to be. I hope it is.
19, baby.
Now, anybody else you want to talk about in the fall?
Gaston Moore.
Yeah. QB1.
Yeah, that's what I heard. He's gonna have a lot of garbage time touchdowns. I can feel it.
Oh, you think he's 2 now?
No, I don't. I just think like he's gonna have like they're probably gonna play Nico for a little bit, and they'll play Gaston Moore a little bit too. I don't think they want to be in the same situation they were last year, where they felt like they didn't have somebody behind Joe Milton if he were to get hurt.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, Gaston Moore.
I wonder what happened over with softball this weekend. Karen Weekly had a tweet: "Hey, scorekeepers, a sack fly can only be recorded when a base runner scores. Advancing a base runner on a fly ball without scoring is a at bat and an out."
Oh,
what drama's happening over at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium?
Well, I know the softball team run rolled Florida yesterday, and I think they were down 4-3. It's okay. It's 7-3 right now in Florida.
She did tweet that at 1:43 p.m. today, so I don't know when that shakeup occurred.
Oh, this game just started
I don't know what caused that one.
Like an hour ago, yeah.
Maybe it was something from yesterday. I did see some drama in the scorekeeping. Apparently, the Ole Miss scorekeepers are awfully friendly to them. They had maybe some balls some balls in the infield get through that got written down as error rather than a hit. So a little home cooking.
Love it
for the scorekeepers sometimes.
Yeah, I mean they weren't. I saw some of where did you see that? There was another game I saw where like
I think 11.7.
Okay, yeah,
that it got written down as an error. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It was like one was a freaking rocket to the shortstop.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to dive for it almost.
Yeah. I think it did touch his glove, but it was certainly not an error.
Yeah.
That would have been great if it didn't touch him at all and it got written down as an error.
I love it. If it touches your glove, it's an error.
Yep. It's a good way to keep score for sure.
All right.
We already hit on Barnes landing a transfer. You messed me up, man. This is not an AI scripted podcast, as you can tell.
What did I say?
We did the transfer before Breakout Players this fall.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think people can tell, though. This isn't fake. This isn't, nothing fake about it. This is all us. So we can actually get in trouble for this one.
That's what I put in the show.
It's not what I have. I have Breakout Players this fall, and then Barnes lands another transfer. Dylan, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did do that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. I just trying to figure out what's
keeping
next.
you on your toes, man.
Exactly. All right. Barnes lands another transfer. Nope. Skipping that one. Sorry, I messed up again. Do we have any questions?
Let me see if we have any.
I don't think I got any here. Let me double check though.
Somebody did ask if we could do a predict our starting 5 next year with Connect involved as well.
With what?
Dalton Connect.
Oh, okay. I don't know. All right,
I feel like it's the same thing. Like it's that 3 spot is where I'm just like I don't know.
I think that does make me lean more towards potentially being Dalton. I'm glad you can say it's just Connect. That's his last name.
That's how they were saying it on his highlight tape.
All right, cool. I think that he looks like a more like well-rounded guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only shakeup I would see in it than what we said on Thursday with Jamal Meshack there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still think it could be Meshack, especially like the first exhibition game. I think it very well could be Meshack.
Well, and it might be with, depending on where Zakai's at.
That's true.
So
could be
if Zakai's not there, I definitely think it's Jemai is one of those spots.
That's true too. Yeah. Which probably is the case. Probably the first half month or so, you probably don't see Ziegler much or at all. So that probably is what it is. Because ACLs are a little bit different than they used to be. He's probably back in the gym with them come fall practice when it starts.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's 100%, but he's back with them, I'm sure.
Which is insane. I mean, used to like even a few years ago, ACLs was like, oh yeah, that's a year. You're out for 12 months. Yep. And now it's like, oh, in 6 months you'll be good to go.
I mean, that's what's weird about people acting like Hendon Hooker's draft stock just plummeted. It's like, he might fall a few, but people know he'll be back by training camp.
Right.
So,
well, it's like that one surgery that Tua and Cedric Tillman had.
Yeah, you're back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's like, what in the world?
Yep.
Yeah, that's wild.
I guess we can ask this one. We had this one on Thursday, but we didn't have enough time. We got plenty right now. What team has the highest expectations that you think will fail this season in college football? We can just do SEC if you want, or if you have another one.
Say that again.
Team with the highest expectations that will fail.
Okay.
A lot of people said Colorado when I saw this question asked, and I just don't see Colorado having a ton of expectations. I think people expect them to honestly not be that good still.
Yeah.
So it's I didn't think Colorado was a good answer. I think in the SEC, unfortunately, I think one of the teams is Tennessee that has – maybe that's just Tennessee fans that have that expectation, I hope. I think a lot of people do look at Tennessee as a big rebuild, losing Hendon Hooker. You also lose Jeremy Banks. You lose Jalen Hyatt. I mean, that's a lot of big impact guys. Byron Young. Like, you lose a ton of impact guys that – Cedric Tillman, who I know wasn't a big impact this year, but – is someone you lose off the roster. So maybe that's just a Tennessee thing that I think.
I think Darnell Wright's the biggest one.
Darnell Wright. Yeah, that's another guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think as far as the SEC goes, I got to imagine Alabama's got to be on that list. And I know
you see their spring game.
Yeah, and I'm not even putting much stock in their spring game, but I think everyone knew they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah. Not one that they've had like
right.
in recent years.
Before the spring game, though, I mean, there was already talks of Van Dyke potentially transferring to Alabama for Miami. Yeah, I don't get that, but like before that.
Here's one thing about Van. I'm not scared of his ass either.
But before that spring game even occurred, there were already talks of that.
Yeah. Yeah, no one feels comfortable and in the spring game, it wasn't answered. You didn't feel any better coming out of that spring game than you did going into it. Probably worse.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, I think Alabama could certainly be, and I'm not like 7-5 Alabama, but if they don't play in the SEC championship game this year, I won't be shocked.
Yeah.
But I think there's still also expectations of Alabama being Alabama.
Yeah, I think Georgia's just going to reload again. I think they have a quarterback that they need to figure out, but I mean, they got like 3 5-stars on that roster at quarterback. I don't understand. I just think that the guys that they've included in their wide receiver core, the Ra Thomas, Dominique um, Lovett, those 2 guys are playmakers. So I think they'll be, you still got Brock Bowers, so they're gonna be good offensively. They're gonna have running backs for sure. That defense will just reload. But they're a team that continues to like rebuild, and that's why we talk about stacking classes is so crucial. I just don't think that they fall off. Now, do they win a national championship? I don't know, because I think Stetson Bennett, like as much as people like made fun of him, I think like he was the perfect storm for them to win it. He didn't try to do too much. He wasn't turning the football over, and he was just athletic enough to get out of bad situations. And then, of course, that defense was the best defense in America. So,
yeah, I think they'll be really good this year. I'm with you. I don't know if they'll dominate like they did the past 2 years, but they'll be really good.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I think going out of the SEC, I think Florida State's an interesting watch. They're kind of like Tennessee, maybe, where they found a ton of momentum this year. I mean, think about the start they had. They should have lost LSU. Somehow win. So yeah, I don't know what this year looks like for them, but
they were ready to fire him. Like,
very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange.
And now they're all back in the boat.
Then you have Clemson, who kind of in a much more watered down sense, kind of like Georgia, where Clemson's still going to be good. Now, will they be as good as even last year?
How are they ranked above Tennessee? I
have no idea.
I don't understand that. Tennessee literally went into the Orange Bowl without those guys you mentioned and beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, my hope is the national media has not put a ton on Tennessee right now. Clearly.
Yeah.
Because that was the AP poll, wasn't it?
I forget what poll.
I believe it was
something like that. Yeah,
I believe it was AP. So yeah, I think Clemson or Florida State is one of those teams, but I think there should absolutely be expectations they win the ACC in a year like this year.
Mm-hmm.
A&M too. I mean, they're super talented, but I doubt they'll find
quarterback, man. Yeah,
quarterback, and I mean, it's just they're in a bad position in terms of the West. You have LSU, who's got Brian Kelly now and already played for an SEC title. You obviously have Alabama. You have Auburn, who just hired Hugh Freeze. You have Ole Miss, who, they may not play at the top of the SEC West, but they're going to have the ability to come in and beat you. Arkansas, who's not all that great, but they can win ball games, obviously. They can also lose ball games. Liberty. So, I mean, they're just in a really bad position.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a safe answer. I'm going to go Miami and Notre Dame are definitely going to not meet expectations.
Does Notre Dame have expectations? Does Miami even have expectations this year?
I feel like they always do. They're always like, oh, dude, we have so many recruits coming in. We got this transfer. We got this new quarterback, and they're just ass. And Notre Dame, of course, is going to win every ball game until one that it actually matters and lose it. So
that's usually how it goes, yeah. I like those safe. That's a good point. Safe answers.
Will Oregon be good?
Oregon might be pretty good. Similar to how they were last year, and they don't have to play Georgia in the Georgia Dome to open, or I guess not the Georgia Dome anymore, but in Atlanta to open the season and get their brains beat in.
Is is Oregon better than USC?
No.
Okay.
I doubt it. Doubtful. Very, very much doubt it. What about UCLA? How do they look after they lose DTR, don't they?
Yeah, DTR's gone, so yeah. I think with one of those teams has to go down, right? Because USC, Oregon, you have Washington that's pretty good.
Utah,
which
they lose. Utah loses, don't they? Cam Rising.
Okay,
they lose him?
Yeah.
He was a older quarterback too, wasn't he?
Yeah,
a 5th or 6th year guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Does Michael Penix Jr. have another year?
Michael Penix Jr. I'm pretty sure is playing for Washington this year. I'm pretty sure.
God bless.
Yeah,
they might be pretty good too.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone USC was just.
Is Oklahoma? Are people expecting them to be good?
I don't know. Did you see their spring game? It was 84-82.
Jesus Christ.
They had like the Butch Jones scoring methods.
Oh, good for them.
They had. I wish I'd screenshot it. They had.
I mean, he's a defensive guy, so I get Venables like wanting to like give the defense some points.
But they also listed out in how they score in their spring game that you got 0 points for a missed field goal, 0 points for something else that was very obvious you'd give 0 points for. I was like, why do you need to list that out? That you shouldn't get points for that.
The other team should get points.
I think they did, thankfully. But yeah, it was very weird. Very strange. Just play some good old-fashioned football, all right?
Yeah, let's do it. Put the ball down and go play.
Yeah, Josh Heupel gets accused of all this gimmicky shit, and they didn't even do that.
No.
I love it. All right, I guess that's all for the questions.
That's all I got. Let's most important. Dylan, you want to get in here too if you got any?
Most important, man. I'm going to kick it off fast and fun, like Josh Heupel's offense. Freaking Wrexham. Wrexham FC, officially. That's Rob and Ryan.
They wrecked them?
Yep, Wrexham FC. They are officially promoted into League 2 out of whatever semi-pro league they were in, the 5th league. I don't know how that works, but they were in the 5th tier, I guess, of professional football, not the 5th league. National League, sorry. That's it. Ryan.
Ron Reynolds.
Yeah, Ron Reynolds and Rob McElhaney's. That's their team, Wrexham.
Okay.
You still haven't watched Welcome to Wrexham, have you?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
No, it's awesome. You got to watch it for next season because they do have a second season that'll have this promotion and in that. But yeah, they officially got promoted. Super Paul Mullins scores 2 to secure that, and they're going up, baby. Fans were storming the field. They've been out of league football for 15 years. So if you're a Tennessee fan, it should feel very similar to that story. I got to imagine the feels of getting promoted just Saturday night had to be very similar to that October Saturday night kind of type of deal.
Okay.
If it got emotional, you saw some tears between Rob and Ryan. So, yeah, dude, it's awesome. One of my
ROI through the roof, man.
Oh, for sure. Well, not yet, I guess. They pumped a ton of money into that team, and it's really cool. They have Wrexham has one of the oldest international football stadiums. I guess that's where Wales plays, is why it's listed as that. They have had to pump a ton of money into that facility because it's been just not taken care of, because the team before them was owned by the fans, owned by the town, essentially.
Nice.
So they just did not have a ton of money.
Like the Packers.
Yeah, exactly. And they've had to pump a ton of money, not just into that, but into getting players that were quality enough to promote. So, yeah, it's get ready to get the checkbook out again if you want to keep moving up, because that's the thing.
Are they the Wrexham Rexes?
They're Wrexham.
Wrexham.
They're just Wrexham FC. They're not.
Oh, yeah, they don't have like a name?
No, they do have a dragon, I believe, on their crest.
So could it be the Rexes? Like, is that what their like nickname would be?
I don't know. I don't know if they have a nickname like that. I don't know many of their chants except for Paul Mullins' chant. So no, I'm not aware of anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay. The last episode I watched of Ted Lasso, they had the Wolves. So that's
yes.
why I was asking.
Yeah, they do have the Wolves. It's, I guess is it Wolverhampton?
Yeah.
Or is that Wondering? That might be Wondering. That's the Wolves.
It was,
I think that is, 'cause I think that's
it was
the joke.
Wolverhampton. That's right.
No, I think it's, hold on. Yeah, no, Wolverhampton was the Wanderers. But I guess they call them the Wolves, but they're not the Wolves. They're Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, well, that just confused the hell out of me. So,
I guess their logo is I guess a wolf, or maybe it's a wonder. I guess wolves are wanderers. But yeah, they're the Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Oh, so great, just be confusing.
Yeah, I mean that yeah, for sure. But I mean, what are you gonna do? We're the Tennessee Volunteers, and we have a dog as our mascot. So, what are you gonna do?
Hey, dogs always volunteer
to eat your food.
Yeah. Dang, I had one.
That is part of the joke in Ted Lasso. I'm going to have to go watch back and see exactly how they laid it out. But yeah, they aren't the Wolves. They're the Wanderers, but they call themselves the Wolves.
I don't really have. Oh, I do have. I have a great stat. So this weekend's series sweep over Vanderbilt was Tennessee baseball's 12th SEC sweep under Tony Vitello. Prior to Vitello's arrival in 2018, the Vols had swept just 12 SEC series in the previous 15 years.
Wow.
Tony V effect, baby.
That is stupid. I'm also glad you mentioned the Wolverhampton. They have, I think it's them. I'm about to find it. They're in a. They played for. I think they played for relegation one time, and it was an insane video where a team misses a PK. Fans think it's over. They storm the field, and then Wolverhampton goes down and scores to either promote or avoid relegation. I'm about to go find the video.
God, we've been there before.
It's electric. It is. It is insane.
Just when you think it's over. Do you have any more most importance?
I believe that's it, but let me check my notes here.
Your notes?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. You want to go fail?
Yeah, let's hit some fails.
My first one is Dylan Brooks. Going at LeBron. I mean, it's one thing to like go at LeBron, just like get on his nerves, but it's one thing is like, I don't care. He's old. I poke bears. I don't respect no one until they can come and give me 40. Dude, you average like 14 points per game. So you don't even respect yourself. Like LeBron is 38 years old. He's never in his life averaged just 14 points in a season. So Dylan Brooks is he's a chode. And I kind of like the Grizzlies, but like Dylan Brooks is just the absolute worst. I don't even think Memphis Grizzly fans like Dylan Brooks. He's like our version, or he's their version of our Urosh.
Okay, interesting comparison.
It's like why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know why you poke that bear for sure. And I kind of fully expected LeBron to go for 40, and I don't. Do you know what he ended up scoring?
He had 25.
Yeah, well, that's kind of disappointing.
Well,
even if you lose LeBron, you got to go for 40 there.
Well, and then Dylan Brooks gets ejected, so it's
I did see that for giving a little cup check.
Yeah. Actually, that's kind of sus on Dylan Brooks. You can't like call a man old and then try to grab his penis.
He's just he's out cougar hunting, dude. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, what's your fail?
Looking to find mine.
I got one more.
I was looking for this video, but I couldn't find it.
I got one more. Jake Crane out of he is the Crane Show. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I just like how you said that.
He said, "OMG, there's going to be a heavyweights too," and he tweeted at Ben Stiller. I love it, and I was like, "No way!" So I clicked on the screenshot, and like it was just like, "Yeah, we're doing this, this, and this," and it was just like it was just thrown in the middle of it. It said hashtag April Fools. I was like, "Dang it!" So this man like tweeted out
for believing it.
Well, he believed it after he read it. I had to read it to make sure, and then it was false.
So you had your heart broken, is what you're saying?
Yeah, dude. That movie's electric.
I've got Colorado fans.
And it's not cheesy either. If you want to get back into that,
I figured out it's the word you didn't like was corny, right? Or no, cheesy's the word you didn't like. Corny's the word maybe that's less abrasive. Or is it the other way around? Okay, corny's not the negative connotation one. Or is it the other way around?
I don't know.
One doesn't carry a negative connotation.
Already. You're pissing me off already.
I mean, you tried to start it yesterday and no one was into it, which kind of proves my point.
About what? Did I really try to start it yesterday?
You turned on the song, you said Caleb, and you started clapping.
Oh, I was just trying to get you hyped up. It wasn't about that. I was trying to find Dylan because he likes that song.
You were on the opposing team too, and you lost.
Well, that's debatable.
You lost to Chode. If it wasn't for Chode's big bowling game, would have been a closer one.
I mean, I was pretty much running the beer pong table, so.
Yeah, not enough though. But yeah, Colorado fans. Well, first off, shout out to Colorado fans. They did show up, but they're also super soft on the internet. People were tweeting videos of Travis Hunter getting beat by a walk on, and they were just arguing with people like people weren't just nitpicking just to be funny, and they're just soft. Colorado fans are soft. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a long season in Boulder.
I can't wait.
They're not gonna be able to take it. They're not gonna be able to take it, and it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. Like that's like a dumpster fire. I can't wait to see. And even if they're good, I think that would be cool too. But I can't wait. Like it's gonna be one or the other, right?
Well, I don't even know if
I'm excited for both of them.
I don't even know if it'll be that bad necessarily, the actual football program, but the meltdown from fans one way or the other will be very fun to watch, yes.
Well, yeah, and like everything Dion does is going to be just magnified.
Yeah, and apparently he had a 98-year-old super fan out there. Colorado has 98-year-old super fans.
No, he definitely just moved there from California.
Yeah, I didn't realize they existed, but I guess they do.
I do have another fail, and it was a guy on Twitter. I was just like, dude, what in the world? So I tweeted the picture of the Vanderbilt van. It was like, man, this poor guy drove a dumpster. And the guy was like, man, I wouldn't be making a joke of that. And I didn't even see this, and probably my fault for not seeing this, but it says like in memory of somebody on the back of it, like in small letters. But the thing is like decked out in Vanderbilt stuff. And that was my meaning behind it. But he was like, yeah, I'm a huge Tennessee fan here, but I would never like make fun of like that. I'm like, I'm not making fun of that.
What was on the side of it though?
It was like decked out in Vanderbilt stuff, but on the back in little letters it says in memory of, somebody.
And they thought you were talking about that somehow.
Yeah, I was like everybody does that. Not everybody has their whole van. Not everybody buys a pedo van and decks it out in Vanderbilt stuff. I mean, you should be arrested or put on a list just for driving that thing.
And he thought that's what you were talking about? That's what's insane to me.
I guess. I called him buddy.
All good. I gotcha. I mean, good Lord.
Oh, is that what he said back? I didn't even see that.
I gotcha. All good. How is that possibly what anybody thought you were talking about? I mean, that's just stupid.
I love it.
Also, there's another response. Yeah, because not one Vol fan drove like this to the South Carolina or Georgia game. Well, no one did drive a Vanderbilt van for that. I didn't know there were so many great replies to this. It's amazing. Was the Whistler there? I didn't hear him on TV.
No,
that kind of looks like it could be the Whistler van.
I thought it was too, and maybe he was like trapped inside that thing. I don't know, but I did not see him this weekend. Didn't see him. All right, any more?
No, that's it for me.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll be back. We'll figure it out. We got the bat flip tomorrow night at 7, so be there for that. We'll go in a lot more depth with Tennessee baseball in this weekend sweep over Vanderbilt, and we'll figure out what we're going to do for Thursday's show because Tennessee does have a game against Mississippi State. These Thursday to Saturday game, these series suck. But we'll figure that out and let you guys know. Thanks again. Y'all have a great week. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.